Hello, Chipari here. Today we're going to be discussing the Jason David Frank tribute Forever Green that occurred at the Fayetteville, North Carolina Comic-Con on April 22nd. This tribute was to late actor Jason David Frank, who had been a huge factor in the Power Rangers franchise for over 30 years, starting with Mighty Morphin all the way to having made appearances in the various iterations of that series. Now, in addition to that, it also included some kudos, some information, some footage, some of the actors kind of pushing the project, The Legend of the White Dragon. This is a movie project, a passion project for actor Jason David Frank with his friend and the co-creator of Bat in the Sun, Aaron Shoki. I could be mispronouncing the name, but this film project, Legend of the White Dragon, has been teased to Power Rangers fans, to Jason David Frank fans for a number of years now, and it looks like the project is nearing completion, and hopefully that film will reach a wide audience. We'll have a theatrical distribution in September of this year, 2023. So with that, this event, Forever Green, was a charity event to provide donations to suicide prevention. Now, the event had a number of merchandise that was sold at the event, in addition to paying for a ticket to attend the Forever Green remembrance event that was that evening. Now, in terms of some of the items that were up for purchase, you had Forever Green exclusive event merchandise, like you had a drinking glass, you had a hat, you had a T-shirt, ranging from about like $13.99 to $27.99 to purchase those items, in addition to a coin with suicide prevention, but it was the emblem of the dragon, the Dragon Zord. I do have some of those coming in the mail, so when I receive those, they'll be shipped to my house. I will do a video and kind of show you what they look like, but I did not purchase them at the event. I asked for them to ship it to me. I also purchased this toy from Aaron. This is the Legend of the White Dragon exclusive figure to Fayetteville, North Carolina. You can see the exclusive Fayetteville image or emblem on the bottom of the box here. You've got this retro style box. You've got his signature that he signed it, in addition to kind of the image of the White Dragon. This is a variant of the action figure. I believe it says the Energy Charge Dragon Prime. So pretty interesting merchandise that they're putting out for con exclusives. This isn't the only one. Of course, they're doing different color variations through the various cons. I'm assuming this will continue. This isn't the first one. They've done quite a few of these for recent cons. So I'm assuming if Aaron and some of the cast members are at upcoming events, they'll continue to sell these toys. So in regards to the event, because it was a charity event, the event is no longer available now. It was live streamed and recorded temporarily, but they have since deactivated that stream. I have some of the footage available to show you, and I've done a previous video about my thoughts on the con. I'll share very small snippets of that footage because, again, it was a very limited event, and it was really meant for kind of remembering Jason David Frank, providing some stories amongst friends and collaborators, and they didn't want some of that repeated or distributed. So I'll show you guys some of my thoughts and opinions on the event in just a moment. The event was kind of hosted by, I believe his name is Rorrie Travis. In the comments, you can correct me on the actor's name, but he played Devin in Beast Morphers. Really energetic, charismatic actor, really getting the event going despite all the technical troubles and even the issues with the event hall itself in terms of the staff not being cooperative. One thing I will say, in addition to that, was that I was a bit, having watched the recent Power Rangers Netflix special Once and Always, it is a bit, and this is completely, well, not all completely, but I feel that there could have been more for Jason David Frank to kind of honor his legacy. I know that he's done prior reunion specials for Power Rangers, but I wish that we could have gotten the opportunity to really close up his character through the Once and Always Netflix special, and that was something that due to unforeseen circumstances, was taken away. But I was hoping that kind of Hasbro could have done more to bring him into the fold. And I think it was really just down to the fact of they really didn't appreciate him as much as they should have. But I digress. I will show you guys some of the footage and some of my thoughts thereof. It was an event that was closed out by Jenna Frank, his daughter, that lit the green candle in remembrance of JDF. So in terms of some of the interesting stories, some of the ones that hit me were I believe it was the Deno charge Red Ranger. He came in via streaming. He was not there presently or physically, but he did a kind of, I believe it was a pre-recorded session, and they kind of showed his video. And he was talking about that this is the Deno charge Red Ranger, saying that when he was a kid, his mom had a kind of an actor kind of show up as the Green Ranger, Tommy, show up at the house for his birthday party and kind of just interact with him during his birthday. And he was just kind of enamored as a little kid, thinking that Tommy, the Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, showed up to his house. And there's a picture of him kind of putting his hand up to the Green Ranger and interacting with him. And that photograph was something that he later kind of shared with Jason David Frank when his dreams came true and he became a Power Ranger himself. Once again, the Deno charge Red Ranger. So that was a very special moment that even was a possibly pre-recorded message. In terms of other stories that came up, and with the stream and with some of the videos and things that were going on, there was issues with the timing. So while you had this video message that was going on, Barbara Goodson was pouring her heart out about her the influences of Jason David Frank's death on her. Barbara Goodson being the voice actress for Rita Repulsa. So what Barbara Goodson had said, and that many were probably missing due to the conflicts of kind of time placement of how they were doing the event, how it was recorded, how it was live streamed, and the lack of kind of coordination, proper agenda. So Barbara Goodson was saying that, you know, it broke her heart to lose Tommy. That was somebody very important to her. They had the voice actor for Goldar, and unfortunately the name escapes me, but he was speaking from the heart that he became more of a friend with Jason David Frank after the show ended and they started collaborating on conventions, that he could feel that Jason David Frank was going through something as it neared his death. And he felt like he had thoughts that he should have been there to help him, but just didn't know how, and maybe he should have done more. And you can hear their voices breaking when they're talking about this. These are the voice actors for Rita Repulsa and Goldar, kind of sharing and pouring their heart out as to their experiences with Jason David Frank and what his passing meant to him. Also, interestingly enough, was Hunter Deno from Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury, somebody who had never met Jason David Frank ever. Or at least she's identified that she didn't have any interactions with him. So she had just come onto set to start the season of Cosmic Fury when they heard the passing of JDF, and they were already in the midst of filming. And what she said was, "We took a break, and we never take a break," which is concerning. That, you know, they don't let your actors break, you don't let your cast, you don't let your crew take a break, you just kind of run through it. In any case, she said for the first time they took a break, and they said take at least 30 minutes. And the crew took about an hour and a half after hearing the news of Jason David Frank's passing, and there were people that had interacted with him that felt an impact. And then there was like Tessa, who's the current Green Ranger, that was very emotionally impacted because she was following up from his lineage of being the Green Ranger. So you had everyone kind of impacted by this, that's taking a pause emotionally. And Hunter Deno's telling the participants in the event that there are people just kind of sitting on the grass, kneeling down, kind of pondering or taking in his loss. And then, of course, they have to get back to filming again. So some of those stories were extremely interesting, very poignant, and just it was impactful to hear even those individuals that may have never met Jason David Frank, what his passing, like they knew when it happened, they knew how they heard the message and how it changed the environment around them. The next segment I'll talk about is in regards to the Bat and Son director, Aaron. He is a longtime friend of Jason David Frank. They've done a number of segments together. Aaron has directed plenty of fan films, everything from Street Fighter versus Power Rangers, or Street Fighter and Power Rangers, to all these crossovers like Scorpion versus Green Ranger, or there's been plenty of segments where Batman has fought against somebody, and there's this website that hosts all these videos, and you can see them on YouTube. I highly recommend Bat and the Son. Watch those videos. They're very fun, and they're even more important now that JDF is no longer with us. He stars in a number of them, and they're hugely quality in terms of being able to see those interactions that you'd never otherwise see. Fan films, but well done, high quality, professional. And Aaron is also doing or has filmed already, the Legend of the White Dragon, which is the passion project by JDF. It's kind of his version of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but more adult, to cater to adult fans of the show. This is starring JDF and including many of the actors from Power Rangers playing new characters in this fan film. So he talked about, and he shared some footage as far as some bloopers and some personal moments from the filming of that movie. Also, he kind of talked about some stories as to specifically with Bloodshot in terms of fighting with Sony and the lack of Sony's cooperation. He didn't want to have it shared at large because it might lead into some type of legal concern, so I'm not going to share the entire story of it. But in terms of kind of the summary of it, was that the perception is that Jason David Frank, he played Bloodshot in these more fan-centric films, and then of course Vin Diesel starred in the Sony Pictures big budget version that came to theaters. One is a perceived, or not even a perceived failure, but is a box office failure, and one is a success. So it was interesting to hear those takes and from Aaron and Bat and the Son. I did like to hear that not only was the hope was to have Legend of the White Dragon be a 6-film series, and now that that's not going to happen, the hope is that they can turn that into the sequel to be into a comic book, with the first film that is scheduled to the hope is for that to be a wide release in theaters in September. It is not guaranteed from what I was hearing, but the hope is that Legend of the White Dragon will come out in theaters this September 2023, and once that occurs, there is some sort of cliffhanger, and the hope once again is that they can do a comic book sequel to it to continue that story. And that story was of course kind of a co-write between Aaron and Jason David Frank. So interesting to hear all these stories, interesting to hear actors like Cerina Vincent, to hear Walter Jones talk about his first interaction with Jason David Frank, and just everyone kind of sharing their moments and having poignant thoughts, and kind of their love of Jason David Frank. I will say that I think Cerina Vincent, who's the In Space, I keep on saying In Space, the Lost Galaxy, Yellow Ranger, she said a very thoughtful phrase, or a very thoughtful statement. She said that Jason David Frank would also kind of text her a lot and have these little messages and little jokes, and it kind of helped out her day. And she said the ones that give the most love also need the most love back. And so that struck me as kind of who he was, that he needed that, he needed that appreciation back. He was giving it all out to everybody, fans, friends, family, co-workers. And he needed that appreciation back. He needed to feel it. He needed to absorb it. He needed to make sure it's real. So very interesting that Cerina Vincent said that. So good experience overall. I hope that they continue with this. I hope that they have a venue that is going to be accommodating to something like this in the future, to continue some of these remembrance for Jason David Frank, or some of the legacy actors that leave us from the Power Ranger family. Fayetteville needs to do better in the future, but I am glad that I was able to experience it and having these moments that I would have never thought would have ever happened to me. So I'll end it with Walter Jones's segment where he discussed his first time seeing Jason David Frank on the set of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and just being impressed with him kind of doing his martial arts and his kicks and wanting to kind of go over there and talk to Jason David Frank and introduce himself. And that's how they began their friendship. So very interesting story that Walter Jones was immediately impressed by Jason David Frank and his athleticism. So that does it for me, guys. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and hopefully you enjoyed some of these thoughts on the Jason David Frank tribute. Until next time, bye.